Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. I want to introduce you to a really quite dynamic CEO and an very interesting company. Thomas Maguer is here. He is the CEO of a company by the name of Republix, and what it is a company that really connects talent to you're an agency, effectively. Is that correct?
So we're a digital marketing platform that connects the right services and the right talent to the customer in a way that it delivers predictable results in terms of their marketing. That's revenue, leads, sales.
And you're based here in Toronto, and I'm told that you've got strong both organic growth and acquisition growth, and you're an award-winning company. I'd like to hear what the awards are, and I'm told that you are a very highly successful and convincing CEO. So the pitch I got about your company and about you was pretty positive.
Beautiful. That sounds great. So, I mean, in terms of Republix, we were founded in 2019 with a problem in mind. Prior to that, I was running an agency that I founded with my wife back in 2015, specializing in growing IT services companies using different marketing methodologies. But then they would come and ask us, could you do our website? Could you do Google Ads? Could you do these different marketing tactics? And of course, not wanting to turn away the business, we would say yes and try our hand at it, usually losing money. And then we try to partner for it, but realize that there was a lack of integrity in the partnership ecosystem. So usually the customer relationship would suffer because of that. So we said, if you can't build it and you can't partner for it effectively, why not go ahead and buy the best-in-class capabilities that the customers are asking for? That was the thesis behind Republix. And so in 2019, December, we founded the company and said, let's go ahead and acquire the missing capabilities. And since then, we've grown to 32 million in revenue and in approximately 3.5 years through a mix of acquisition and organic growth. And really just trying to deliver on this promise of hassle-free growth for our customers, right? So now we have, over 900 customers within our group and covering a myriad of marketing tactics and capabilities that our customers are asking for. In terms of awards, last year, we were rated one of the fastest growing companies in Canada, according to the Globe and Mail. I believe we were 20th, 16th, something like this. I should know the number, but it was up there. And the other aspect is for this year, we've made the list again. And I believe we'll be cracking the top 10 fastest growing companies in Canada out of 500 that were submitting their candidature. So it's an exciting time. There's a lot of work to do. It's a very difficult problem to solve to make things hassle-free for our customers. But I think the one that goes and wrangles that complexity on their behalf and really gives them a nice experience while doing that is going to win the market.
So tell me, what would I hire you for?
So it depends. Like, for example, we have B2B SaaS companies that we work with. And for that, we have an offer called the Full Stack Revenue Accelerator. So they would want to hire us to add 100,000 to 500,000 a month in MRR, monthly recurring revenue, within a year. What would be included within that? Strategy would be included, their outbound marketing, email, LinkedIn, calling, appointment booking, Facebook advertising and Google advertising, the full web pages that are required and any web work that's required in order to make that happen, and sales enablement, right? We write the scripts and we work directly with our customers to make sure that their teams are well equipped to take the leads in the business that we're about to send to them, because that's another pain point for a lot of the folks. Their lead generation and their sales processes are disconnected. And so really looking at their business in a holistic way to generate more revenue. So they would come to us and be like, I need more revenue. And from there, we would say, okay, you would need these 7 different tactics in this exact order, and we'll take care of it for you. So that's an example of what we do. Let's say on B2B SaaS. On direct-to-consumer e-commerce, we have a very strong practice there as well. And they would say, we need to go ahead and generate an extra $1 million a month in sales. Okay, great. We would do an analysis of their business. And then from there, it would be, of course, strategy again. And then a combination of most likely performance creative, brand, their communications, any email or blogs that would be required, Facebook, Google, programmatic advertising to get them in front of the right kind of audience, conversion rate optimization to make sure all those pages are converting properly, and we'll even build their website. So that's what for example, a direct-to-consumer e-commerce client would be asking for. But you see, it's holistic. It's not just one thing. It's not about what to do. It's saying, what is your goal? And based on that, we will let you know what needs to be done using all of our capabilities to go ahead and grow you.
And you're a collective of numerous different businesses all put together. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Explain that if you could.
So each one of these agencies or technologies has a unique superpower, something that they do extremely well for the market. So then what we ended up doing was identifying what were those agencies and technologies that our clients were asking for, and then from there, identifying which ones to go ahead and acquire. So just to give you an example, like last year, I think it was 46% of all new sales involved more than one agency. And 10% of our revenues came from cross sales, which says that the customer is asking for more and more things, and we can say yes because we have those capabilities in house, right? So, so that's a little bit how we've grown.
Sounds like an interesting strategy. How'd you get into this? What's your background?
So background, I went to school thinking I would be a doctor, and then on the tail end of that, discovered that I had a greater love for business. So then built a career in finance, first at Ontario Teachers Pension Plan as an analyst. And then by the time I was 24, I was VP sales for a $350 million structured products company called One Financial. And that's where I started understanding structuring of product and kind of the investment world. And then from there, I went off on my own, creating a variety of companies from, futures and options trading company out of Chicago, doing managed futures, automated trading strategies. And it was actually on one of my investor lists that I was communicating with and adding value to using content that we did what I now know as a product launch. They loved it and they said, "What was that? Could you please do it for us?" And that's how I got into marketing. Right. So it's been a non-linear journey that has combined all these different aspects. And then as I started moving through the marketing journey, realizing that growth through M&A is a viable way for us to achieve scale and the capabilities that we're missing, I then blended the two between finance and marketing to bring these capabilities together to better service the customer. And there, I took a variety of trainings and had some really great mentors along the way. And I think that's one of the main things that I lean on, is always finding folks that have done what I'd like to do, that are best in class, and that can teach me what is the best way to do that, so I can save myself decades of mistakes, hopefully, or we still have challenges, but they're far less than if we were going in blind. So that's a little bit the journey of how we got into this thing.
So you're currently running 4 companies, it would appear. Vequitas Capital Corporation, that, as you mentioned, is in the futures options trading business. Integrity One, which is a distributed software solutions company. Irrational Marketing, which helps companies develop their brand and multi-channel prospecting. And Consolidated Capital Corporation, which transforms companies with marketing expertise. And then this Republix, which is the consolidator of all these different types of marketing companies, all digital. Is that correct?
That's correct. And if anything, I need to update my LinkedIn but to create more simplicity, I've really streamlined all of those together. Integrity is the platform that allows the automated distribution of services on a performance base. So Republix now has technology and IP that leads off of integrity that allows that vision to come to life. So integrity is inside of Republix. Irrational marketing was acquired by Republix. So therefore, just bringing in it together and bringing those capabilities to the entire ecosystem.
So are you just like the old advertising companies that did, magazines and TV, but you're just doing it all on digital?
So it the core is what delivers performance for the customer and what is the easiest to attribute towards their results. And just by default, digital is much easier to attribute and say, we did X, Y happened, right? And that's really where I believe the world is moving. And one step further is saying, you don't pay unless we produce results. The only way to go ahead and generate this type of a value proposition is with proper attribution, and that's done through technology. So we've really focused on the digital aspects of things because it allows us to more and more move to this world where we can be pay on performance and really align ourselves as business partners with our customers and wanting the same things, right? So we've really focused on the digital side.
So in addition to my radio show, I've got a podcast. And if I hired you to help me market my podcast, what would you do?
So it depends who the target market is. Like, who's the target market?
Consumers in the Greater Toronto Area.
Okay. And who in particular? Like, who would end up buying your products?
Well, the podcasts are people that are interested in politics, business, technology, development, and lifestyle and arts, because that's what I cover on a weekly basis.
Sounds good. And then if when it comes to how you ultimately monetize your audience, like what are the core things that they have the opportunity of purchasing?
Well, what I do is I advertise on the podcast and on the radio show. So really what I want is people to be interested in viewing the videos or listening to the podcasts, and then, obviously by having interesting guests like yourself, and then sell that space to advertisers.
Gotcha. So then it's an advertising model where you're building an audience,
yes,
and then you're monetizing the audience through advertising.
Yes.
Okay, understood. Because usually above that, there would be back-end products, things that they can purchase like consulting or courses or coaching or things of this sort. Usually is why there would be some sort of audience, because then that allows a longer tail monetization based on value that can be delivered beyond the show. So I would usually say that the show's the front end that allows people to resonate with you and then ultimately lead to other sales. But how we would typically go about it is saying, okay, if your target is the advertiser, who is their ideal customer? Because if they're happy, you're happy. So the people that they want to go ahead and target with their advertising, you would want them as an audience. So we go through an exercise called the ideal customer matrix, which is, in this case, it would be your advertisers. Who are your top advertisers? How much fun are they to work with? What kind of results are they getting? How much do they pay you? And where are they located? Based on this, we can have an understanding of who those ideal advertisers are and who they're trying to market to. Because one of the difficulties, and I have this all the time, I had to lead all of my different divisions through this just recently, is that the more targeted we can be relative to who we're speaking to, the greater the value we can deliver, because we know where to focus our attention from a product, from a marketing and communication standpoint. So usually when we intersect those different your different advertisers, which are your customers, then we would find some recurring trends and saying, maybe it's a lot of these folks are in financial services or health and wellness. And then we'd say, okay, which one do we want to focus on first? And maybe there's a lens of the show towards one and a lens of the show to another. But I found that success comes by doing less from a marketing standpoint. In terms of tactics that would come out of there, once we've identified who to go after, then it's saying, well, where are they likely to lie? Now, advertisers are B2B. In your case, you would be going B2B. That says LinkedIn, email, telemarketing, event-based strategies where there's different events where they aggregate. We would do marketing at those events or against those events to get the right kind of people scheduled in your calendar prior to there. And that way, it's a way of just generating the relationships that are necessary for you to go ahead and close more advertisers. So that's one lens of the strategy. The other one is saying, well, how do I get more of the people on my show so that my audience is 500,000, 1 million people? That allows you to charge a premium to advertisers, right? And at which point that's a direct to consumer. So that would be large scale email strategies and most likely joint venture partnerships, where there's folks that have your type of audience that have already built it, building some way that they can get a benefit and you can get a benefit, and then convert their audience into yours. That's the fastest way. The fastest results I had there was back in 2015. We went 0 to 85,000 subscribers in 2 weeks and about $1 million in sales. So that's one of the fastest ways to go ahead and do it, as long as there's a good value proposition to share with those that control these audiences and really turbocharge yours.
Sounds like you're doing a lot of business strategy as well as marketing strategy.
Correct. Because at the end of the day, marketing is just a tactic. It's just a thing. Lots of people deliver things. It's not about that. At the end of the day, a business wants one thing. It's to succeed. What does success look like? Oftentimes it's tied to revenue, or they have an exit that they're planning, or they want a nature of their revenue so that they can just relax. It kind of falls in these categories. And if we're not clear on what that goal is, how can we be intentional in the structure that we're going to implement to achieve those goals? And so our thesis is that the business owner doesn't actually care how you do it as long as you can get the result. The second part of our thesis is that they don't actually know what they're doing. So our job is to come on the front and saying, we got you. Let us understand your goal. From that goal will come the different tactics and ways of generating that goal that oftentimes ties to marketing and sales, because that's what generates revenue. And that's the only way that a business survives. So yeah, we offer a lot of strategy on the upfront. It's important. We focus on 1 year and 3 year planning with our customers to make sure that we're aligned with where they want to go. And then we start deploying tactics that will see them get to that goal as quickly as divinely possible.
Sounds like a fascinating company. We're chatting tonight with Thomas Lumago about his digital marketing company called Republix. We're going to take a break for some messages and come back in just 2 minutes. And we're going to talk about a financing that he's involved in right now. And it's really multi-layered. He's doing an equity deal. He's doing a convertible deal. And unlike a lot of companies in the digital space, he's really employing an acquisition strategy. So all interesting topics. Back in 2 minutes with Thomas. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. My guest tonight is Thomas Maguer, who is the CEO, co-founder of a digital marketing company called Republix. It's Toronto-based. It's won a bunch of awards. It's growing like crazy, and it's got an interesting strategy where really what you're doing is you're consolidating digital marketing companies, both. It would appear through acquisition as well as maybe collaboration. I'm not sure, and you're sort of like a one-stop shop for people that are looking for numerous different digital marketing activities. And it sounds like you're doing strategy as well as marketing strategy. So why acquisitions? Because it's not something that I think is very prevalent in your space, at least yet. So consolidation is taking place in digital marketing as well. Is that true?
Right. Well, in the digital marketing space in North America has about 14,000 agencies. Now, one of the challenges that's existing out there with the advent of AI technology and these other factors is that if those service-based companies don't convert themselves to be more like tech, they're going to be rendered obsolete. So this is one of the strengths of my co-founder, actually, is how to turn services, manual services, into tech-enabled services or technology, right? And so we lead in that particular transformation. So there's 14,000 agencies, and they're all over the place. It's very much a cottage industry in this way. So we see the opportunity, again, if we can't build it, because it would take us too long, and we can't partner for it effectively without having the right types of technologies in place, which we're building, then the best way is to go ahead and buy. So there's only three options when it comes to adding new capabilities to service our clients. So we picked acquisitions because it's very effective. And the way that we do it is that cash flow always covers debt service. We're a debt-driven model primarily. And then our job is, as soon as we receive this agency, is to grow it. So through cross-sell right off the bat, because again, we have a lot of other capabilities that can better service those customers. And at the same time, restructuring their offer in a way that delivers even more value to the market. Because oftentimes these founders have taken their companies as far as they can. And that's with one lens. We bring a different lens to it, helping them get to the next level. So that's kind of the acquisition strategy.
You're embarked now on a convertible debenture fundraising. Is that true?
So in this case, it's a convertible note to go ahead and help us with additional capital, not just for the purposes of acquisition, but also for the purposes of driving more organic growth. Every single dollar that we invest in our growth engine spits out $4 to $5. So it's just a very good investment. And the more that we can put in there, the faster we can grow our company organically. So from that standpoint, we're doing a $5 million offering. And that's done at a 50% discount to the next raise, just to really make sure that the accredited investors that we would be speaking with have an opportunity to participate at a level where they can be a part of the journey and achieve something pretty cool with us. So that's what we're up to here. Very simple offering. But again, for those that are accredited or family offices or otherwise, they're the folks that we've been working with here for the last few years.
So you're a private company, and so this
Yes.
isn't on the Toronto Stock Exchange or anything like this. This is private deals, and you have to have a certain net worth to be an accredited individual, accredited investor to invest. But if you are and you're interested, you're offering a 12% pay in kind coupon and a discount to the next equity raise.
So what we're offering there is just even more simple: 50% discount to the next equity raise, and that's it. So in effect, it's a potential 100% return on the next round. And our target here is to do a private equity raise, a private equity recap here in the coming year, and getting ourselves a proper sponsor in place to complement our debt facility.
And the pre-money valuation is what?
Well, that's the whole point with a convertible note. There's no need to know, because whatever the next round is, you come in at a 50% discount. So we developed that with our board for the simple reason that valuations are all over the place right now. So just to make sure that that conversation is not a blocker for any investor, it's saying, well, if you come in at a 50% discount to the next round, no matter what, that's an implied 100% return. So we tried to make it as simple as possible, given the market environment where valuations are anybody's guess.
And what are the sizes of investments that people can make?
Typically, we're getting $500,000, $1 million checks, but we would go as low as $250,000 if it's the right type of investor, because we've been carrying them along here for the last couple of years, and they've been adding a lot of value to our company. So it would go as low as $250,000, but typically it's between $500,000 and $1 million.
Right. And who's on your board?
So we've got Yuri Levine, who was the co-founder and CEO of Waze, the traffic navigation app that sold for $1.3 billion to Google. They also created Move It, which was the Waze of public transportation, which they sold for $1 billion to Intel. So he's our chairman, and I've been working very closely with him here for the last few months. At the same time, we've got Leonard Meloff. He's built multiple technology companies, one of them called Group Buy, to the tune of 30 million a year. He runs an investment bank. So he's been very, very helpful in terms of driving us forward. The other one is John Hick. He's on the board of multiple public companies on the TSX here in Canada. And he brings more the legal, the governance lenses to our company, because our target is obviously to go public in the coming few years. So we start practicing today how to behave like a proper public company with a proper board and proper governance and independent directors. We also have Nicolas Léger, my co-founder and partner, who's on the board. So that's the 5-person board, and we have a broader advisory board that have members of private equity, top influencers in the agency space that bring us deals, and accounting and tax experts.
Sounds like quite the company and quite the strategy. I really appreciate you sharing it with us. If people want to check you out and potentially invest, or they want to hire you for your services, how do they contact you?
Well, email's the best thing. TLEMAGUER, T in my last name, at Republix.com. And they can also find me on LinkedIn under my name. Just reach out, and I'd be more than happy to connect and see how we can add value in some way or shape or form.
And the website, if people want to check you out, is just Republix.com?
Correct. That's us.
Excellent. Well, Thomas, I really appreciate you sharing with us your story, and good luck with your fundraising. Let me know if I can help.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian.
That's our show for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I remind you, I'm on every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock on 960 AM. You can stream me online at www.saga960am, .ca.